Hi there, my name is Paula Fiscal, and welcome to the show. Today we continue our series, The Evolution of My Career. We invite in distinguished guests for you, the audience, to get some tips on how to break into that industry. Today is a very special day. We not only have a distinguished guest, we have a glamorous guest. We have our first movie star. Miss Tina D Elia is here as our guest, and Miss Tina has done work in the area on the LGBT Center on Market Street as a volunteer. She has also been on Dyke Central, which is a web series, and she has had a one-woman rendition of Rita Hayworth of This Generation.
Yes.
And so we welcome Tina to our show. Tell us a little bit about how you ended up in San Francisco.
Thank you so much, Paula, for inviting me to your show. I'm so honored to be here. And I wanted to move to San Francisco, which was December 1998, January 99, because I wanted to be a big gay. I wanted to be involved as a queer woman of color and a queer artist in the arts, in education. I did anti-violence work for 10 years here, and I wanted to be amongst my people, so really diverse communities that did really exciting cutting-edge artwork, not just on the stage, but, you know, back in 99, people weren't doing as many films as they are now, and I saw the potential for the Bay Area to do more film work. And there's also agents that work here, which was not the case in Boston where I grew up. So I moved here so excited and thrilled, and this is my home.
So can you tell us a little bit about your ethnic background? I understand that people believe you're from Colombia.
Yes. So everyone thinks I'm Colombian, which makes sense because my mother, who's Mexican and German, her parents immigrated to Cali, Colombia back in the 1950s. And she grew up in Cali, Colombia. My uncles still have a Colombian accent. And she really, it just was immersed in Colombian culture. So that is part of how I grew up. Even though we were living in New England, we were living in a very sort of more of a Latin American culture mixed with my father, who's Southern Italian. So there was a lot of personalities. There was a lot of creativity, a lot of dancing and music. I think that helped foster who I am today, which is
And I was
fabulous.
just going to ask you a little bit about your family.
Yes.
So are there other entertainers in your family
There
that you
certainly-
can tell us about?
Yes, there certainly is. My older brother, Peter DElia, is actually a full-time musician in Berlin. And he used to live here, and he said, Tina, you've got to move out to the Bay Area. And no sooner as I moved out here, we probably were here in the city for about 10, 12 years, and now he's lived in Berlin for 10. I came here, you left me, Peter. Which is great. And a lot of his performance, which is anything from bluegrass or folk or rock, he also brings a lot of performance. So it's not just that he's a musician, he's also a performer, a singer. And my uncle Jorge is a painter. His work has been in Latin America and in the U.S. So, and my dad studied piano. My parents are both poets. So there was a lot of just, this is part of how we grew up. It wasn't necessarily, you know, we're going to tell you to go be an actor and this is how. It was really, this was the launching pad of just how we expressed ourselves.
And how about you went to university and you majored in?
I majored in women's studies with an English literature concentration, which was fantastic because it really helped me be inspired by a lot of women writers and women feminists. And also I was looking for a lot of Latina icons and guides. And I got to incorporate performance poetry and spoken word in writing. So a lot of what I do today is really what I've been doing my whole life, which is really, either taking writing that I've done, looking towards other, strong women and certainly other, fierce Latina and women of color.
So let's go back to
performers.
San Francisco and when you first arrived. Were
Great.
you, how do I put this? Were you welcomed with open arms, or was it very competitive in our little city?
Great question. So I had laid some of the groundwork because I was already in films that had been screened here. I did a little bit of performance in clubs before I came here. So I had started to build bridges, and I had friends that lived in San Francisco. So I already felt like there was a welcoming that was happening. And then I started to work at a nonprofit organization, Community United Against Violence, and there were so many incredible people I was working with that I actually felt like I moved here, and then I got to be part of a second family, which was such a blessing. And it really changed who I am, because by working at KUA for 10 years, of course, that's going to inform me as an artist and a person in the world doing social justice work. So I felt like it was more just a slow process for me to understand how the city is compared to Boston, where I grew up. So I told myself, give yourself a year, 2 years, get to know everybody, learn how the theater scene works, the solo performance, spoken word. So I tried to just say, I'd love to hit the ground running, and I was. However, I needed to also take the time to say, what's out here, and let me go watch what other people are doing. So I did that.
And can you tell us a little bit more about your work that you do at the LGBT Center?
Yes. So I love the San Francisco Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender Community Center. There's such great work happening there, particularly their transgender economic employment program. And they're always having these phenomenal job fairs, and they offer free services to really help create professional development opportunities for folks within the LGBT community. So I go in and I do pro bono public speaking workshops, and I'm coming into their job club very soon to prepare them with public speaking skills and performance communication skills, because really what we learn as actors when we're being authentic is not learning how to be somebody else. It's really learning how to stay calm and confident and centered as who we are, and then saying, boom, now I'm just going to present this to you, and and don't you want to hire me?
And so when you do these workshops,
Yeah.
you also do this type of work. So
Yes.
my question is, are you a working artist or a starving artist?
Great question. Thank goodness, because I wear so many hats, that I am a performance coach and a teacher and a workshop leader, and I also work in the area of casting, and I cast projects. I can be a working artist, and I can be a working actor, because I'm also having different sources of income, which many people say today that's kind of the way to go. If I was to throw a tip out there to those actors and artists is, find as many ways that you can utilize your skills in the world.
Well, in this city, we all have several jobs. We don't just have one job.
Yes.
We have multiple jobs. So can you tell us just a little bit more about some of the performance workshops that you present for want-to-be actors?
Yes. So I offer a workshop called Authentic Actor on camera television and film acting workshop. I have this workshop once a month. It's 3 hours. I keep it small to 10 participants, because I really want everyone to ask questions and work on 2 different kinds of scenes. So one very sort of short scene that's called an under 5, so under 5 lines, and then an actual scene that they'd work with a scene partner. And because I am a casting director and I also work for a casting director, so many things that I've learned through the years is, wow, what are the secrets that people don't tell you that you want to learn? And I'm all about teaching secrets in my class so that people...
That's why you're here, Tina.
That's why
you want to hear all the secrets.
All the secrets. And a lot of times actors don't know when they're starting out that we're looking for you. And so the more that you can rehearse and prepare, the more that you can listen and watch, the more that you can take a workshop and really understand how to walk into a room, have an audition, come in with the sense of and the energy of, hey, it's a good day. Do your best, thank them, and walk out, can actually put you ahead of lots of people. And when you leave, say, that was a good day. Wow. So what did I do that was good? What did I do that I did very well? And what can I keep working on? Make that note and then let it go.
So can you tell us about the 48, what is it called?
Oh, yes, the 48-hour film festival and project.
My friend Colin Hussey.
Yes, dear Colin.
At one point invited me to join that group, and I thought, well, that's a little bit out there. I thought I better not do that. But I hear you did that, and I watched it on the internet.
Yes.
And it was very funny. I started laughing. Tell us about the process for that.
Yes, indeed. I love the 48-hour film project. It's actually international. It's such a hit. They make it accessible for people. So I highly recommend it to artists and actors, directors, screenwriters, crew out there. This is a great opportunity. So every June in San Francisco is when we have ours. There, East Bay has one as well. And the 48-hour film project will have a night to say, who's your team? You pay an entrance fee, which is affordable. And then the rest is just everybody volunteers on the team to write a script, shoot a film, edit it, and turn it in, all within 48 hours. And Colin and I have worked on 3, and I feel very honored that he and I were nominated as Best Comedic Actors in the 2010 The Mugging by Tomas Pugues. That was a great opportunity. And I feel like what a great practice also for all of us to be able to convey our message, to work as a team, to have a final product done, and then go see it in a film festival. All within, by the time the film festival happens, it's somewhere around 4 weeks, maybe 4 or 5 weeks after we've delivered the film. That is incredibly rare.
Yes.
So rare.
Yes, I understand that it takes a long time to put a film together.
Yes.
And speaking of that, can you share with us a little bit about your presentation that you did in 2012, the Rita Hayworth of This Generation?
Yes. So I've been working on the Rita Hayworth of This Generation for at least about 3 years. I started researching her back in the 90s. And when I first formally staged my play, I just fell in love with these 5 characters that tell a story that is set in Las Vegas. The protagonist, she's not me, but one could say that one could say it was an aspect of me, but really she's a fictional character. Her name is Carmelita Cristina Rivera, raised by a spiritualist pagan, hilarious. She kind of has an old Hollywood throwback sort of sensibility herself, and she's queer identified. She goes to Vegas. She wants to launch her show. She loves Rita Hayworth. She kind of sees Rita Hayworth as a goddess and says, I'm going to perform my show. Well, she meets the Staten Island butch lesbian Angel Torres, who says, okay, hire me. I'll put your show up. I might fall in love with you, but I'm going to try to keep a good boundary. Well, Angel falls in love with Carmelita. Carmelita's trying to launch her show, but Carmelita falls in love with the very astute playboy, the transgender king of blackjack, Jesus Antonio Atano, who anybody would probably fall in love with. So Carmelita's got herself in a little bit of a love triangle. There is some magical realism in the show. There are some stars that are living, and there are some stars that are dead in Las Vegas. There is a trapped place in Vegas where dead Columbia Picture Hollywood stars reside. Perhaps Carmelita will meet the Rita Hayworth. We don't know.
That's very interesting, Tina. And how long did it take you to put this show together?
So it's been at least a solid 3.5-year writing process, because every time I've staged it or done an excerpt, I've gone back and I've either worked on the movement and dance. So I work with a dancer choreographer, Sean Dorsey. I worked with a little bit of the music that my father created and the sound engineer, Laura Dean, to create new music for 2 years ago. I'm back working at the Marsh with my creative writing solo performer teacher, David Ford, because I still want to tweak the writing in this last year. And I'm also been developing new songs. So even though most of the writing has been done within 3 years, there are these little jewels that everyone will get to see this fall.
Very, very interesting. Now, what I'd like to do is read just one of the reviews that
Sure.
you got, the favorite one I like.
Thank you.
I had the pleasure of collaborating with Tina on a musical project for her one-woman show, the Rita Hayworth of this generation. Having admired her and her work for many years, I was very excited to get to work with her creatively. Along with being a super talented actor and writer, Tina is professional and really knows her craft. Now, I have several pages of these testimonials and very good reviews that you got from this one-woman show. So I think that your show in September, it's going to be released here,
Yes.
is going to be very well received.
Thank
Now,
you.
it's a one-woman show, so you don't have to cast anybody, right?
Right. I'm playing all 5 characters.
5.
All 5 characters, yes, which is great. And then at times you have to create the characters that are not in the room that people are talking to. So I really love the craft of solo performance. And I also have to give a very sweet shout out to my director, Mary Guzman, who's an award-winning filmmaker director, who's local here. She's great. And it really is about going deeper and deeper into who every character is.
So you're going into each character smoothly without any pauses.
Yeah.
So let's take a little pause now.
Great.
For us to identify ourselves. You're watching the Paula Fiscal show. We are doing a series of the evolution of my career. My special guest today is Tina D Elia, who is an actress here in the San Francisco Bay Area. And we thank you for watching this show. You can also see this show on YouTube, but on Sundays at 3 p.m., you can catch it on Channel 29. So we thank the producers of this particular show. I have a producer that does post-production, but sometimes we do such a smooth live production that we don't have any glitches. But when we do, I do use post-production done by Pat Lakey. So let us get back to the Tina D Elia show. And now she's going to tell us a little bit about her show on Dyke Central.
So I had the honor of being cast in Florencia Moneville's Dyke Central Season 1, which is groundbreaking. It's the first web series set in Oakland that really focuses on queer, dyke, lesbian, queer women of color. There's nothing like it so far, and all of the first 10 seasons are complete. And people can watch it video on demand. I play a lesbian mommy. I'm not a lesbian mommy in real life, but it was an honor to play one because, well, let's just say that the leadership was able to cast their daughter, who plays my daughter, which was very exciting. And I got to work with another great Bay Area actor, Giovanni Espiritu, in a scene. So I won't give away any great details except to say that, of course, there's a lot of drama. There's a lot of love. There's probably some infidelity. There's, a lot of, issues that are going on today in the Bay Area that come out in the show.
Well, speaking of issues, since we are in San Francisco.
Yes.
Do you have any comments on what we find to be very controversial in this city?
Sure.
Regarding the amount of time or the amount of energy, the amount of money that goes into, for example, the Gay Pride Parade and some of the other activities that take place here?
Great question, Paula. There are, I have to say, because I was so excited to be on the Dyke March Committee for several years. I want to say it was probably between 2000, 2005, and I helped co-MC the Dyke March. So at that point, I can't speak to today, but at that point I could see because we were doing a lot of fundraising, the budgets for all of the parades versus something like the Dyke March that had no corporate sponsors. So we knew that the Dyke March either had none, and then eventually we got a little bit of money, whereas there was a lot of parades and celebrations that had major corporate sponsors, and the budget was very large. So there was a lot of pushing and advocating we had to do, and working with the Board of Supervisors. And I think it's an upward battle. I think that it helps if you have been around for a long time in this city too, in terms of being established. And I also think it's about having to, everybody needs to never stop speaking up and really, showing the numbers and saying, so we see here that this festival budget is 500% more than what we have in this small little, festival that may be of marginalized people or marginalized communities that we need to promote as well. I mean, definitely there are celebrations that are huge, like the Pride Parade, and there's other parades that are also very big. I want to sort of put a plug into, all of the small ones. Don't give up because we need everybody's voices to be heard. And I'm grateful for the Pride Parade, and I'm really grateful that the Transgender March, which was so small when it started out, has grown, which is fantastic. That's on Friday nights of the Pride weekend.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. I also see that the parade brings people together.
Yes.
And also many, many people from around the world come in to see this parade.
Yes, they do.
I remember one of the early parades that were held in San Francisco, and they were not as well attended.
Yeah.
But now it's become a very, very good tourist attraction, if I can say that, because we get a lot of people from around the world to visit us, and they spend their dollars here, so there's nothing wrong with that.
It's fantastic. It's amazing, especially because the Frameline Film Festival is at the same time of the LGBT Pride Parade, is at the same time of the National Queer Arts Festival. There's all these festivals happening at once. So there's film festivals, there's creative arts festivals, all happening in June.
So the film festival for this community takes place at the same time as the Pride Parade?
At the same time, which is great.
Well, that is perfect timing.
Perfect timing. And then earlier in the month, the second weekend of June, is always the Queer Women of Color Film Festival, which is free, and they feed everybody and provide childcare.
Oh, maybe we better repeat that part one more time.
Yes.
What was that you said?
The Queer Women of Color Film Festival, which I love being a part of, and I've had films and been in the Queer Women of Color Film Festival, so I give it a lot of love. It's a free film festival. It's at the Brava Theater. They feed everybody and they provide childcare. That's pretty amazing and grassroots.
So there you have it. There is a couple of tips there for during the celebration time. So now I'm going to ask you the question of, give us some of what you think are some of the tips that you can offer to our viewers as to how to break into this field.
Great. If you don't know who you are, find out who you are and sit with yourself and say, I'm going to spend some time writing down who I am. I want to be an actor. I am an actor. Work on saying, I am an actor. I am an actor. And within the things that you're writing about who you are and how you see yourself a part of different projects, go out and see some of those projects. Go out and see some of the communities that you would want to work with. See if they have open audition calls. See if they on Facebook they say, "Oh, come volunteer with us." Find your peoples. Find your peoples, because if you have the passion and the desire and the skill, you will find your people. It's really about who you are and what you want, because there's so many options.
Tina, we want to thank you for joining us today. And now is the time to give us your email or your Facebook page so that we can find you.
Yes. So my website is tinadelia.com. You can email me at info@tinadelia.com. And on Facebook, I am Tina Delia and Tina Delia Consulting for my business. And I just want to say again, Paula, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much.
We really enjoyed having you here, and now you can sing the song that you sang earlier.
That's right.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
So in order to pronounce my last name correctly, you can simply sing DElia. I just met a doc named DElia, and suddenly I'll find dialysis on my mind. DElia, I just met a doc named DElia.
Now, I understand that song came about because of your father being a doctor.
Yes, my dad is a kidney and diabetic doctor. And so it was the nurses that created the tune, which to me I thought was brilliant because they really understand that if you sing my name, Tina D Elia, then you'll always remember.
Well, she does have a good voice too, don't you think? So once again, thank you for joining the Paula Fiscal Show with the series, The Evolution of My Career. And we want to thank Tina. So look out for her on the website, and if you want to catch the rest of the shows, you can check them out on YouTube and also on Sundays at 3 o'clock p.m. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.